Paulo Sotero is director of the Brazil Institute here at the Wilson Center. He joins us for this edition of Now to discuss Brazil's presidential election. Paulo, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure to be with you, John.
What would be the singular biggest takeaway from what we saw in round one, what we know is now round one of the vote?
Well, it is the same takeaway from the start of this campaign. It's very unpredictable, very volatile, very exciting. President Dilma Rousseff finished first, but in a vulnerable position. Aecio Neves, a senator, former governor of the state of Minas Gerais, finished in a surprise surge. Polls detected the surge a couple of days before the election, but did not detect its intensity. So we go to a second round of elections on October the 26th, and very difficult to predict the outcome.
Any sense of why the polls have been so unpredictable? Usually that close to the race, the polls settle in. The volatility here, for example, one poll before the election showed that if Rousseff was in a runoff with Neves, she would win by 8 points, but this looks like a very close race. It also, that same poll, showed Neves in third place, trailing Silva by 9 points. It ends up he's 12 points ahead of Silva when the vote is taken. These are really big swings.
Yeah, well, Marina Silva basically collapsed in the final week of before the first round. I think it has to do with the intensity of the debate that Brazilians are having among themselves about the direction of the country. It is a very complex moment for Brazil. Brazil has enjoyed economic growth over the recent 10, 12 years, but the economy in Brazil has lost altitude. The country is now on the verge of a recession. People of this new middle class in Brazil want more, they want better, they want faster of everything that relates to the quality of their lives, public transportation, health, education for their children, public safety.
Like all of us, they want it all.
Yeah, and decency in politics. Brazilian politics has been very corrupt lately, and people are people are participating in this process, and I think the candidates must be having a very difficult time understanding what this emerging middle class is attempting to tell them about the direction of the country.
Complexity is the word you use, complex. The political culture also very complex. When Americans look at a situation, they tend to think right, left, conservative, liberal, but that doesn't apply one-to-one in trying to understand Brazil's politics. So help us understand the two contenders in the runoff. What are the platforms that they represent? What is the choice in Brazilian politics?
I think that the visions, especially in terms of the economy, which is at the center of this debate, is President Rousseff represents a more traditional leftist approach in the sense that the Workers' Party traditionally has favored more state intervention.
A more managed economy?
A more managed economy. And the problem is that Brazil has integrated itself in the world economy enough to create the pressures for more opening. Brazil now is a country that has somewhat 30 multinational companies. Brazil has the third largest builder of airplanes in the world, and the Brazilian economy needs to expand with quality, and you only do that if you start opening the economy. Aecio Neves would represent more of this second element of yes, it's important to keep growing the middle class in Brazil. Brazil is a country that has a very sad history of poverty and inequality. We made enormous progress over the last many years under both President Cardoso and especially under President Lula of Dilma Rousseff's party, the Workers' Party. But this process seems to have come to a point of exhaustion where instead of relying on consumption to expand the economy, we do have now to rely on investment by by Brazilians and by foreign investors to participate and to improve the quality of the economy in Brazil. And Aecio Neves, I think, brings more of this dimension. Another difference, I think, vis-a-vis the United States is that Aecio Neves comes from a side of Brazilian politics that would be more welcoming to a more open, more productive relationship with the United States. Dilma Rousseff, let's be fair, attempted to do that, had to cancel a state visit, and canceled the state visit to the United States in October last year due to the revelations of spying, things like that. But her party represents sort of, they see the United States with suspicion. So any leader of the Workers' Party has a much difficult time building an agenda of cooperation with the United States. And I think the same is true regarding the rest of the world. So I think at this point it's fair to say that they represent the two views of Brazil, of Brazil's future, and I think the debate in Brazilian society is very intense about what view should prevail.
One final thought, Paulo. Elections are ultimately math questions, and if we look at the math from round one, 41.59% to Dilma Rousseff, Mr. Neves 33.54%. The action seems to be right here. Marina Silva 21.31%. Where does that support go?
According to polls, 60% of those votes would go to Aecio Neves. Marina Silva.
Is that enough to put him over the top?
No, he would need about 2/3 of that. He has very close to 2/3. Marina Silva, who ran for president in 2010, remained neutral that time. This time, given the level of attacks, of negative attacks she suffered in the first round from her former Workers' Party, she's a founding member of that party, she was, she decided that it is better this time to join one side, and
that formal announcement is pending.
There is a formal announcement pending. I think Marina Silva will remain as a vital actor in Brazil's politics. She is an environmentalist, and she could emerge as the kingmaker on October the 26th.
Well, thank you, Paulo, and we'll look forward to speaking with you again after the votes are cast on the 26th.
Pleasure, John.
Okay, take care.